Have you ever found yourself in a situation where the weight of silence speaks volumes more than words? Picture this, a bustling upscale restaurant on a Friday night, atmosphere buzzing with laughter, clattering silverware, and the aroma of exquisite cuisine, yet amid all this elegance there is an undercurrent of tension, an awkwardness ready to explode. Our story centers on Miles, a talented young pianist working as a waiter to support his dreams. For him, playing the piano isn't merely a hobby. It's a lifeline, a vessel for expressing his deepest emotions. Miles poured his heart into every note he played, but the confines of his job kept those melodious dreams at bay. Now imagine a woman adorned in expensive designer wear, Jennifer, whose laughter rang out like the clink of crystal glasses. It was clear she relished her status, reveling in the power that money afforded her. As James, another waiter, recounted later, there was something almost predatory in the way she eyed Miles, an unspoken challenge ready to unfold. "You pianist!" she called, her voice ringing through the restaurant, a command rather than a request. It was like a spotlight had zeroed in on Miles. The murmurs hushed. Heads turned, curiosity peeking with each hesitant glance. "Let's see if you can play something that matches the ambience of this elegance." In that moment, the room vibrated with a tension both palpable and suffocating. Put yourself in Miles' shoes for a moment. How would it feel to have your passion turned into a mocking spectacle? It was a gamble that could either shatter his dignity or resurrect his artistry, but could he trust such a hostile audience to appreciate the beauty of his craft? With his heart pounding, Miles stepped toward the grand piano. At the corner of the restaurant, the luxurious black lacquer gleaming hauntingly like a siren beckoning him, he sensed the weight of judgment and expectation bore down heavily on him. Take a deep breath and listen to what I have to say to you right now. This was his moment to prove not just to them but to himself that he was more than a target for mockery. As he positioned his fingers above the keys, memories flooded his mind like flashes from an old home video, his mother's gentles humming while she cooked, the sound of rain tapping against the window as he practiced late into the night, the way the world felt smaller whenever he played. In that sweat-drenched instant, Miles chose to channel the legacy of his sound, rather than allow the barbs of ridicule to silence him. Closing his eyes, he played. The first notes flowed out tentative but full of promise. Each chord unfolded like delicate petals of a flower, his spirit infused into the music. Yes, their laughter had been laden with malice, but his melody bore the weight of resilience and hope. What started as a slow, soulful tune morphed into a cascade of vibrant jazz notes, dancing like fireflies in the warm night air. As his fingers glided over the keys, something extraordinary occurred. The crowded dining room transformed. The laughter faded, replaced by a profound silence that spoke of rapt attention. This is why we share our stories and our art. Miles was not just playing music. He was sharing a piece of his soul, a narrative woven from struggles, dreams, and victories. As he played, there was a shift. The faces in the audience, initially twisted with mockery, turned soft, eyes wide, lost for words. As they absorbed the beauty of what they had underestimated, even Jennifer, with her pretentious bravado, found herself caught off guard, the appreciation for true artistry confounding her intentions. Imagine standing there, realizing that you are not just witnessing a performance but a revelation. What would you feel in that moment? The air crackled with an energy that was almost electric. An acknowledgement of talent breaking through barriers, a moment where humanity intertwined through music, transcending superficial differences. As the final notes lingered, an echo of emotion floated through the atmosphere, profound and unmistakable. The applause that erupted was more than just clapping. It was an ovation for the human spirit and courage. Miles opened his eyes, meeting the gazes of the audience, their surprise morphing into admiration and finally respect. In that instant, Miles not only challenged the woman who sought to belittle him, he inspired everyone in the room, reminding them of a universal truth that every person possesses a unique story worth telling, a talent waiting to break free from the confines of prejudice and misunderstanding. Jennifer, once the orchestrator of Mockery, now stood humbled. How often have we looked at someone and assumed we knew their story, only to find out that beneath their surface lies a reservoir of untapped potential? Her laughter had turned to silence, and shame began to etch lines on her otherwise confident face. Days later, Miles returned to the restaurant, but this time the atmosphere had shifted. Fellow employees greeted him with warmth. Customers spoke his name in hushed admiration. The laughter resounded with a new gleam of friendship as they shared stories of resilience and triumph over prejudices. The day came when Jennifer finally approached him. Wearing a genuine smile devoid of her previous arrogance, she offered her hand. "I'm sorry for how I treated you, your music. It made me realize I need to do better." Her tone was free of disdain. A truce extended between them in the wake of a shared human experience. Let's pause for a moment and consider the power of humility and empathy. What extraordinary lessons can come from acknowledging our mistakes? The relationship that blossomed between Miles and Jennifer became a meaningful friendship, transcending the initial hostility, unraveling the threads of class and race that once started as weapons but now transformed into ways to connect and uplift one another. Through his music, Miles crafted not just melodies. He wove a fabric of community. He frequently collaborated with other artists, offering piano lessons to children in under-resourced areas, sharing his gift with those whose voices often went unheard. While his talent would forever be associated with that fateful night, it was ultimately his tenacity and kindness that defined him. Embrace your talents, your stories, share them, because in a world often guided by superficial judgment, it is only through understanding and connecting with one another that we can dampen the echoes of mockery, igniting the flames of joy and unity. And who knows, your voice might just resonate deeper than you ever imagined.